Hey guys, Analog Man here for another deck profile or weekly deck profile basically at this point. And as you can see from the thumbnail, we are looking at Jesmon. So Jesmon actually recently just got support in BT13 as did all the other 12 Royal Knights. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. And surprisingly, the best, I would say the two Royal Knights that honestly got the best support would be Jesmon and Alphamon. And that's why I decided to update my Jesmon deck because this deck did win me championships last year, which was actually pretty solid because this deck was very fast even when it first came out, and now with the new support, you could potentially not pass as much memory as you usually would, because that was the main issue of this deck was whenever you turned into GX, you would pass them 5 or 6 memory, and that would allow them to just basically remove your board, including GX himself. But now with the new support, you can potentially gain memory just like Alphamon, but in a different way. But yeah, let's actually get into deck profiles so I can show you what I mean. So for eggs, we are still running 4 of the same, which is Gurimon. Gurimon is still very solid for this deck, mainly because when attacking, if you have 6,000 DP or less, which is basically almost anything past level 4 in this deck, you will get that extra draw 1, which is pretty cool, because then you could potentially draw into your GX, which you can chain the effects however you want. So potentially you can go this, then go into playing a Sistermon, then that Sistermon will make normal Jesmon or X evolve, and then that will trigger, so pretty cool. But yeah, we run the 4 eggs for it. Pretty solid, honestly. Like, still very good, as I mentioned. For level 3s, we have a bunch. Of course, we run the Huckmons, but we also run Sistermons. And we are running one other Digimon specifically to counter Royal Knight specifically. But yeah, so we run 4 of the Huckmon from BT6 because he is still one of our best searchers, getting 2 cards with Huck, Jess, or Sistermon. So you have to run 4 of this. Then we run 4 of the new Huckmon. Your turn when a Sistermon, and its name, basically whenever you play a Sistermon, you can Digivolve this Digimon into a Bao Huck without paying the cost, which is pretty cool, because potentially you can just chain an evolution all the way up thanks to reduction in cost. Usually you don't want to like do it with this out on the field. You want to like do it with one of the other ones, because that way you don't waste as much memory. But sometimes you do have to. I've had really weird like occasions where I had to do that, but most of the time you don't really have to. But yeah, you have to run 4 of this because of his inherent. Whenever you play a Sistermon on your turn, you basically get to gain a memory. So in conjunction with the new Bao Huck and the Savior Huck, you're potentially gaining back 3 memory in the process, basically making your Sistermon 0 cost. So yeah, we run 4 of this. Then we run 2 of the Huckmon from BT7. This one isn't as great anymore because mainly it's the fact that most of the time when you do his inherent effect when you attack, you usually bottom deck a lot of your pieces, which I really did not like about him. So I reduced him down to 2 mainly because of that. Aside from that, that was his main use. Then the other Digimon I mentioned before to stop Royal Knights is Solarmon, because this basically stops them from reducing cost, which is basically the whole point of Royal Knights. So this actually does hurt them incredibly, unless they have a Marcus, or they're like my friend who runs Odin's Breath. They can't really get rid of this most of the time, so that basically stops them from basically doing any play during their turn, or they're going to basically hard play their guy and give you a ton of memory, which will help you in the end. So yeah. Then for that's basically all the red rookies we have. For Sistermons, we of course run 2 of the Blancs from the starter deck for Jesmon, because of course on play, trash a card, draw 2, and it has decoy for black and red, so really solid. But you have to have a Digimon with Huck in its name or Royal Knight. So basically, it only works for Royal Knight and Huckmon, basically, but it's fine. But the fact that this helps you decoy is really important, especially when you're fighting against Alphamon. Alphamon specifically can just delete GX, but with this, you can protect GX at least, so pretty cool. Then we run 2 of the old Sistermons as the last rookie, because this one's still really busted, turning all of your Sistermon into blockers, and it gets you that draw 1, so pretty solid. That's all the rookies we run. Hold on, let's just sort these out that way, because that way we have everything organized. Okay, then for level 4s, we run 4 of the old Bao Huckmon from BT6, because it still is really solid. You can delete something 5,000 DP or less, which does put Marcus in range of that. So pretty cool if you can just delete Marcus and then set up and just punch through their security again. So pretty cool. Then we run 4 of the new Bauhuck because when you play a Sistermon, you can evolve this into Savior Hut with a reduced cost of 2, making it a 1 cost. And then when you play a Digimon with Sistermon as name, its inherent still gains 1 memory, so it's basically the same as Huck. So really cool. And yeah, that's basically all of the level 4s that are red. The rest are 2 Sistermon CLs from the starter because on play reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. And then you get to add 1 card with Huckmon or Royal Knight, and then it also gives basically any Huckmon or Royal Knight reboot, so pretty cool. Then we run 2 of the old BT6 seal because on play, you basically get plus 2,000, and it gives a 1 memory gain on play, so pretty cool. The all turns effect is really important, especially now in a format with Shine Greymon. You can potentially protect your whole board, and with a certain level 6 that you run in this deck, you can potentially prevent all DP reduction, which is really cool. The fact that this deck even has access to that is really strong because the main deck to beat in this format will be Shine, so that's pretty crucial. Then for the last level 4, we run 2 of the new CL. Sorry, the name is really weird for me to say. I don't know why. But Seal, basically, this one on play you can evolve a Royal Knight basically, and it basically gives back a memory when you do that. But at the same time, if you're evolving the GX, you're basically paying 4 still. So I kind of like I had this at 3 and I had this at 1. But I feel that this one is still a little bit better because I don't have to force an evolution. So yeah, that's all the level 4s we run. For level 5s, we run 3 of the new Savior Huck. Originally, I was running 4, but I felt that the other one still had a lot of use, so I decided to opt for 1 or 2 more of it. With this one, when it has the same effect as the Bauhuck and the Huckmon, except that it does cost something, same as the Bauhuck compared to the rookie. The cool thing though is that his inherent is basically the same as every other Savior Huck. You get to just summon another Systemon in the process, so still very solid to run. Then we run 2 of the old Savior Hucks from the starter deck. This one, as I said, is still really useful because it allows you to attack unsuspended, which could potentially help you kill their stack. And yeah, and then of course when attacking you get to play a Sistermon. So both of these have almost the exact same effects, so pretty good. Then for the last level 5, we run 1 of the original Savior Hucks. Sucks that we can't run more of this because this one was just absolutely broken because it just let you swarm the board. But aside from that, yeah, you just run 1 copy. Then for level 6s, we run 2 of the Jesmon. Actually, let's just go here. 2 Jesmons from the starter deck. I don't like the new BT13 Jesmon because yes, it's a 3 cost. That's fine. Like, and the fact that it gets to pop boards, that's also good too. But at the same time, it doesn't make enough of an impact half the time unless you're evolving into X, which really sucks. Compared to this one, where when digivolving, it does cost 4, but not only do you get to blitz, but also when attacking, you get to play a Sistermon, and it gains a plus 3,000 and a security plus. That's really strong. And the fact that you can chain these however you want. So you can go and play the Sistermon first and then gain the attack, and then you can evolve with like this one, and then you go off into X. So I feel this one is a little bit stronger because it gives you a bit more power compared to the other one. I mean, sure, the other one gives you 1,000 for every single Digimon on your board aside from him, but this one automatically gets it when just attacking. And I feel Blitz is much stronger than just evolving. So yeah, we run 2 of this. Then we run 2 X's. Jesmon X is still really busted. Even when you're just digivolving on top of this and you're not going into this, you still get to just summon something. You get to gain back memory, and then also it has piercing by default, and you get to play a Sistermon when digivolving, so you're basically swarming the board regardless with him. Then, as I mentioned before, this is the card that basically allows us to dodge DP reduction. Genkumon X is really crucial, especially now in this format, because not only is he a blocker, but the fact that on Digivolving he can summon a Sistermon, and the fact that he boosts all of them and makes it so they can't be DP reduced, basically means that if you have the setup, you basically can summon out at least 3 to 4 sister mons in the process of even swinging, and you can potentially just have everything set up. They're all blockers. They can't be DP reduced. So basically, Marcus cannot get through. Shine Greymon can't get through. And it's just, it really hurts them unless they go burst mode. But even then, they still can't get through regardless, which really sucks. So that's why you need Genku X in this build now. You need to at least run 2 because he is basically the guy that's helping you keep your board alive for next turn to go for game. So yeah, you have to run at least 2. Then that's all for the level 6s. We only run 1 level 7, and of course, being a Jesmon deck, we are running 2 Jesmon GXs because GX is still really busted. The fact that when Digivolve, he can just grab something from the trash, he gains that effect. So potentially, if you evolve X into him, you can grab Genku from trash, activate his effect to summon something else. And then you get to make it so everything can't be DP reduced, and he boosts everything, so he becomes a 17,000 blocker if he grabs Genku. He also gets security checks for every Royal Knight inside underneath him, so just really powerful. Just GX is still one of the most powerful level 7s, and I can honestly see why some Royal Knight builds do run 2 of this, because they can just go off with it and just set up. So pretty strong. That's all for the Digimon. The rest are honestly just options because we don't run Tamers in this deck, being a Jesmon deck. So for the first one, we of course run from Master to Disciple because this card basically lets you search almost everything in your deck. And the fact that when it gets hidden security, it just lets you, grab something from the top of your deck, so pretty cool. So you have to run 4. I was running this at like 3, but I just didn't see it enough, so I bumped it back up to 4 like I used to have in my previous build that I won with last year. Then I run 1 Judgment of the Blade because sometimes you don't see this one, and sometimes you do gain back that memory, so potentially you can just do this and then just swing into their guy. And then 1 red memory boost because, that way, if you don't see this, you can at least get this to help set up your memory. And yeah, that's basically the deck. Jesmon is still one of the stronger decks. It's a very rogue deck because of just what happened with, the fact that everybody started running Def X, which was like its main, basically like the worst thing that it could fight against, which is why now we also have Solarmon, because that also does stop Def X because they can't reduce the cost. It's a 20 cost. So unless you give them 10 memory, they're never going to be able to play it. But aside from that, this deck is really strong. Just like, as I mentioned, both this and Alpha got some really solid support. And that support honestly helps this deck come back. I honestly think that this deck has some pretty good matchups with the top decks because it's faster than Royal Knights. It's honestly faster than Belphemon. Especially with how it sets up and how it swarms the board much better. I know Belphemon can wipe the board, but at the same time, you can just resummon the whole board anyway just by swinging once. And then with Shine Greymon, as I mentioned, Genku basically stops that deck dead in its tracks. And then what else is there? Oh yeah, and then against Alphamon itself, sometimes you can just punch right over, or you can sometimes with GX, which is really crazy. And not only that is that you can do it without a tamer, and the fact that you swarm your board fast enough, and the fact that cannot pop some of these guys, especially when it goes up. They literally have to rely on the the Dex Doru Gray to kill some of your stuff. So it basically stops them from basically wiping your whole board. They can hit the blocker, but at the same time you can just summon it back anyway next turn and just swarm the board again and kill him. So it's honestly, this has a really decent matchup. It's why I would honestly put this deck in tier 1.5 because it has the potential to do well. And a lot of people, honestly, I feel forget about this deck a lot. And that is the crucial thing, is that people forget about it and they forget how destructive it was when it first came out before Def X, basically dropped. So, just be careful. If you encounter this deck, it's the only thing that can honestly stop it would be decks that build walls. For example, Machine Dramon is a very good counter to this because it de-digivolves and it redirects attacks. But aside from that, a lot of decks just can't keep up with its speed sometimes. It's really fast. Yeah, and that's honestly why I chose it back in the day, because it was so fast. Anyway, aside from that, as I usually mention, this is a template that you can use, modify however you want. And then any advice that you have, on it, let me know in the comments. And, as usual, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.